It arrives, sometimes, in the quietest moments. A breath held a fraction too long, just as the sun warms your skin precisely, just as a laugh bubbles up from deep inside, pure and unburdened. You feel it, that delicate bloom of contentment, that genuine lightness, and then, almost imperceptibly, a shadow crosses the landscape of your mind. A tightening, perhaps, in the chest, a subtle clench in the jaw, a sudden, almost reflexive scanning of the mental horizon for what might be lurking there. The joy hasn't vanished, not entirely, but it's no longer pure. It's been infiltrated, diluted, by a quiet, insistent hum of something else. A whisper that says, "Don't get too comfortable." A faint tremor that reminds you this fragile moment could shatter. It's the feeling of a glass of exquisite wine, savored, but with an undercurrent of knowing that the bottle will soon be empty. It's the warmth of a loved one's embrace, profound and reassuring. Yet a part of you is already rehearsing the quiet ache of their inevitable departure. It's the triumph of an achievement, hard-won and deeply satisfying, but the very next thought is of the next challenge, the next potential pitfall, the next demand that will surely follow. This isn't melancholy, not exactly. It's something sharper, more vigilant. It's happiness, arriving hand in hand with an uninvited guest. Anxiety. Others might not see it, of course. They see the smile, the success, the seemingly calm demeanor. And when they do catch a glimpse of that restless undercurrent, that inability to simply be in the moment, they might offer well-meaning advice. "You worry too much," they might say. "Just enjoy it. Why can't you just relax?" Or, more pointedly, "You're always looking for what's wrong." Sometimes they might even label it as pessimism or a lack of gratitude or a tendency towards self-sabotage. You've heard it all, haven't you? The gentle nudges, the frustrated sighs, the earnest attempts to pull you back into what they perceive as normal, as healthy, as simply happy. And you try, oh how you try, you tell yourself to breathe, to let go, to lean into the good. But that underlying hum persists, a loyal, if relentless, companion. It's not that you don't want to feel pure joy, it's that a deeper, more ancient part of you seems to resist it, seems to almost recoil from it, as if pure joy itself carries a hidden threat. This isn't a flaw in your character. It isn't a moral failing. It isn't a sign that you are somehow broken or incapable of experiencing the full spectrum of human emotion. What you are experiencing, what many of us experience without ever quite understanding, is the intricate, often paradoxical, dance between our deepest desire for well-being and our brain's most primal, most persistent imperative, survival. It is, in its own way, a profound testament to the brain's extraordinary capacity for learning and adaptation, a testament to a system that, having once learned to anticipate danger, continues to apply that lesson with unwavering fidelity, even when the threat is no longer present, even when the perceived danger is the very absence of danger itself. It is the story of a brain that, in its tireless effort to protect you, has learned to view happiness not as a destination, but as a potential precursor to vulnerability, a signal that something precious is about to be lost, or that the ground beneath your feet is about to shift. This is why, for so many, being truly, deeply happy can feel like an exquisite, unbearable tension. It is why pure joy can sometimes feel like a prelude to pain, triggering a quiet alarm that keeps you tethered to a vigilant unease. To understand this, we must journey into the quiet, powerful mechanisms of the brain, those ancient structures that hum beneath the surface of our conscious thought, dictating so much of our felt experience. Consider the amygdala, that almond-shaped region deep within the temporal lobe. It is not merely the brain's fear center. It is its vigilance hub, its rapid response threat detector. Its job is not to assess danger with careful, nuanced thought, but to assess it with lightning speed, to prioritize survival above all else. When the amygdala fires, it doesn't ask questions. It triggers a cascade of physiological responses designed to prepare you for fight, flight, or freeze. Your heart rate might quicken, your muscles might tense, your senses might sharpen, all in anticipation of an immediate need for action. Now, imagine your brain that has, over time, formed a powerful association. Not an association between danger and pain, but an association between the absence of danger and pain. Or, more subtly, between a state of profound well-being and the subsequent experience of loss or disruption. This is not a conscious thought process. It is a deeply embedded, implicit learning. If, in your formative years, moments of calm were frequently followed by chaos, if periods of joy were routinely interrupted by conflict, withdrawal, or an unpredictable shift in environment, your amygdala learned a lesson. It learned that states of peace, states of happiness are not inherently safe. They are, paradoxically, signals of impending instability. This is a concept sometimes explored through the lens of affect phobia, where the fear isn't of the object of an emotion, but of the emotion itself. While often applied to negative emotions, it can extend to positive ones. If experiencing strong positive emotions has, in the past, led to discomfort, rejection, or a sense of being overwhelmed, the brain can learn to defend against them. It's not that you don't want to feel good. It's that the system has learned that feeling too good carries a risk. The brain, in its incredible efficiency, compresses these complex experiences into simple, predictive patterns. Happiness, in this context, becomes a predictor, not of more happiness, but of the sudden shift, the unexpected hurt, the moment when the rug is pulled out from under you. And so, the vigilance system, always on high alert, intercepts the burgeoning joy, injecting it with a dose of anxiety, a quiet warning to remain braced, to remain ready. This isn't about logical deduction. Your prefrontal cortex, the seat of reason and planning, might tell you that everything is fine, that this moment of joy is truly safe. But the amygdala operates on a different, faster, more ancient circuit. It communicates directly with the body, triggering those subtle physiological shifts that bypass conscious thought. It's why you might feel that internal clench even as you logically know there's nothing to fear. It's the body's wisdom, or rather, its learned wisdom, speaking louder than your rational mind. The brain, having been an astute student of its environment, has developed a sophisticated, self-protective mechanism. It is, in essence, a survival trap, where the very thing that signals well-being becomes intertwined with the signal for caution. Consider the origins of this intricate dance, this delicate balance between yearning for peace and bracing for impact. It is not a character flaw, but rather an adaptation, a brilliant, if costly, solution developed by a nervous system learning to navigate a world that felt, at times, unpredictable or emotionally precarious. Imagine a small child, exquisitely attuned to the emotional landscape around them. Perhaps there were moments of profound connection, of unadulterated joy, quickly followed by sudden shifts in mood from a primary caregiver, or by an atmosphere of tension and conflict, or by a sense of being suddenly alone. Perhaps expressing too much exuberance was met with a subtle withdrawal, a hint of annoyance, or a feeling of being too much. The child's nervous system, operating at a pre-verbal, pre-rational level, began to connect the dots. Joy in this context wasn't just joy. It was a fleeting state, a high point from which the inevitable descent felt sharper, more painful. It became a signal to prepare for the inevitable shift, to armor oneself against the potential hurt. The developing brain, in its profound wisdom, sought to minimize future pain. And the most effective way to do that, it concluded, was to never fully lean into pure, unadulterated happiness. To always keep a part of oneself vigilant, scanning the horizon, ready for the next shift. This isn't a conscious decision made by a child. It's an implicit learning process, etched into the very wiring of their nervous system. The child learned to manage the emotional environment by preemptively tamping down the highest highs, by staying just a little bit guarded, just a little bit prepared. This becomes a self-reinforcing loop. The child, now an adult, carries this internal blueprint. When moments of true happiness arrive, the deep, implicit memory of past disruptions activates. The internal alarm bells ring, not because there is an actual threat, but because the nervous system has learned that this particular emotional state has historically preceded difficulty. The anxiety that arrives is not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to the system's loyalty, its unwavering commitment to protecting you based on its earliest, most profound lessons. It is the legacy of a small self, doing its absolute best to survive and navigate a complex emotional world, with the only tools available to it at the time. It is a testament to your system's intelligence, its capacity to learn and adapt, however painful the outcome of that adaptation might now feel. It is crucial, vital even, to understand that this way of being is not wrong. It is simply a way of being. There are nervous systems that, having developed in environments of consistent safety and predictability, learn to open fully to joy, to bask in it without reservation. Their internal alarm systems resting quietly when no threat is present. They move through the world with an assumption of benevolence, a readiness to receive the good without bracing for its departure. There are other nervous systems, like yours perhaps, that have learned a different lesson. They move through the world with an assumption of potential fragility, a readiness to anticipate and prepare, to mitigate potential harm. Both are adaptations. Both have their costs, and both have their subtle, often unrecognized, strengths. The cost of your particular adaptation is clear, isn't it? It is the quiet exhaustion of constant vigilance. It is the moments of genuine lightness that are never quite pure, always tinged with that familiar hum of anxiety. It is the frustration of trying to just be happy and feeling an invisible hand pull you back. It is the missed opportunities for deeper connection because a part of you is always holding back, always braced. It is the feeling of being perpetually on the verge of something, without ever quite arriving at a place of complete, unburdened peace. This is the weight you carry, often unseen, often unspoken, a burden that can feel immensely personal and isolating. Yet, within this very pattern lies a profound, often overlooked strength. The capacity for vigilance, for anticipating potential difficulties, is not without its merits. It often translates into a deep sense of responsibility, a meticulous attention to detail, a foresight that can avert actual problems. People who experience happiness with a side of anxiety are often deeply empathetic, for they understand the fragility of joy more intimately than most. They are often profoundly observant, noticing nuances and subtle shifts that others might miss. They are the planners, the protectors, the ones who anticipate the needs of others and the potential challenges of a situation. They are often deeply attuned to the impermanence of things, which, while sometimes painful, can also foster a profound appreciation for the present moment, even as they brace for its end. This inner landscape, born of vigilance, is also a landscape of deep understanding, of a quiet wisdom regarding the complexities and interdependencies of life. It's not a superficial happiness, but a deeply considered one, a joy that is often richer, more nuanced, and more deeply felt precisely because it acknowledges the shadows that dance at its edges. Herein lies the unexpected layer, the subtle paradox. The very mechanism that seeks to protect you from the pain of loss by tempering your joy, also, in its own way, deepens your capacity for experiencing the full human condition. The anticipation of loss, while a burden, also means that when good things do endure, when moments of happiness do extend, there is a quiet triumph, a profound appreciation that those who have never had to brace might not feel with the same intensity. Your system, in its diligent work, has not only taught you caution, but it has also taught you the exquisite preciousness of what is good, what is stable, what is truly joyful. It gives you a perspective that is both heavy and deeply profound, a capacity to see the delicate balance of existence with a clarity that others might not possess. Your particular operating system, while bringing its own specific challenges, also brings with it a unique lens through which to view the world, a capacity for depth and foresight that is truly its own. There is no need to fix this. There is only a need to understand it, to acknowledge the loyalty of this ancient part of your brain, even as its methods feel constricting, to recognize the historical context in which this protective mechanism developed, to see that the knot in your stomach, the whisper of unease when joy arrives, is not a personal failing, but a deeply embedded echo of a past need for protection. There is a quiet liberation in simply seeing it, in naming it, in understanding its origins, without judgment or demand for immediate change. This recognition alone can begin to loosen the grip, not by forcing happiness, but by softening the resistance to it. It allows you to feel the anxiety, to acknowledge its presence, and in that very act of witnessing, to create a subtle space around it. To allow it to be there, without it needing to define or overwhelm the moment of joy. This understanding is not an endpoint. It is, perhaps, a gentle turning of the page. It is an invitation, a quiet beckoning, to lean a little closer to the intricate workings of your own being, to continue to explore the landscape of your internal world with curiosity rather than criticism, with compassion rather than condemnation, to notice how this vigilance manifests, not as something to be eradicated, but as a part of you that has a story to tell. And in listening to that story, truly listening, you begin to chart a new path, not away from who you are, but deeper into the rich, complex, and profoundly human experience that is uniquely yours. There is always more to understand, more to feel, more to simply allow. And that journey, this journey, is one of the most meaningful you can embark upon. And that journey, this journey, is one of the most meaningful you can embark upon. It is meaningful not just in the grand, sweeping declarations of self-help philosophies, but in the quiet, profound moments of recognition, of release, of simply being. It is meaningful because it leads you not to an external prize or a publicly lauded achievement, but to a deeper, more intimate relationship with the very core of your existence. This relationship is often the bedrock upon which all other fulfilling connections are built. For how can we truly connect with another, or with the world, if we remain strangers to ourselves? The invitation to lean closer to the intricate workings of your own being is an invitation to active participation in your own life. It asks you to become an engaged observer, a gentle archaeologist unearthing the layers of experience, belief, and emotion that have shaped you. This isn't a passive process. It requires a conscious commitment, a willingness to show up for yourself even when the terrain seems challenging or unfamiliar. It asks for courage, not the kind that battles external dragons, but the quiet, persistent courage to face what lies within, to acknowledge shadows without judgment, and to embrace light without reservation. To truly listen to the story your vigilance has to tell, you must first create the space for that story to unfold. In the rush and clamor of modern life, such space often feels like a luxury we cannot afford. Yet, it is an essential nutrient for the soul. This space can be found in moments of stillness. A few conscious breaths at the start of your day, a quiet walk in nature, a sustained period of reflection or contemplation. These aren't just breaks from your routine. They are deliberate acts of self-reclamation, moments where you deliberately step off the treadmill of doing and into the sanctuary of being. Within this sanctuary, you can begin to practice the art of noticing. Notice the subtle shifts in your body, a tightening in the chest, a knot in the stomach, a clenching of the jaw. These physical sensations are often the first whispers of your internal world, signals from the parts of you that are vigilant, that are trying to protect, or that are carrying old burdens. Instead of immediately trying to fix, dismiss, or explain these sensations away, simply allow them to be. Acknowledge their presence with a soft, internal, "I see you." This simple act of acknowledgement, free from the imperative to change anything, is a profound act of compassion. It tells these parts of you that they are not alone, that they are seen, and that their experience is valid. As you continue to cultivate this gentle noticing, you may find that the vigilance begins to reveal more of its narrative. It might manifest as a relentless inner critic, always pointing out flaws and shortcomings, driving you to achieve more, to be perfect. Or it might appear as a deep-seated anxiety, perpetually scanning the horizon for potential threats, urging caution and withdrawal. Perhaps it takes the form of a hyper-responsibility, feeling compelled to shoulder the burdens of others, believing that only through constant effort can you prevent disaster. Each of these manifestations, though seemingly problematic, originates from a place of trying to keep you safe, to help you belong, to ensure your survival. Understanding this protective intent is a pivotal turning point. It shifts the dynamic from an adversarial relationship, you versus your vigilance, to one of curious inquiry. You begin to ask, what is this part trying to protect me from? Or what fear is it holding on to? The answers may not come immediately, or as clear, concise statements. They might emerge as feelings, as images, as faint memories, or as a growing sense of insight over time. This is not a process to be rushed or forced. It is a delicate exploration, requiring patience and a deep well of self-kindness. Imagine your internal world as a complex ecosystem. Your vigilance is not a weed to be pulled, but a native plant that grew in response to certain environmental conditions. Perhaps those conditions were challenging, even harsh, in your past. The plant adapted, developing strong defenses, intricate root systems, and a keen sensitivity to its surroundings. Now, even if the external environment has changed, the plant continues to operate by its old programming, because it doesn't know any other way. Your task is not to destroy the plant, but to understand its origins, its purpose, and to gradually help it recognize that some of its extreme measures may no longer be necessary. This process involves a gentle dialogue with these vigilant parts. It's not about arguing with them or demanding they cease their function. Instead, it's about acknowledging their hard work and thanking them for their efforts. I hear you, you might say internally. I understand you're trying to keep me safe. I appreciate your dedication. And then, from a place of adult wisdom and present-day resources, you can begin to offer a new perspective. I appreciate your vigilance, but I am strong now. I have new ways to navigate the world. I can handle this. This isn't a dismissal, but an invitation for these parts to relax, to perhaps even delegate some of their responsibilities to the wiser, more grounded self you are cultivating. The cultivation of this wiser, more grounded self is the essence of charting a new path. It involves consciously choosing to respond to situations from a place of presence and self-awareness, rather than automatically reacting from old, ingrained patterns of fear or defense. This doesn't mean you will never feel fear or anxiety again. It means that when these feelings arise, you have a different framework for engaging with them. They become signals to be explored, rather than commands to be obeyed or enemies to be suppressed. Consider a moment of intense self-criticism. Historically, you might have spiraled into shame, redoubled your efforts to fix yourself, or succumbed to procrastination out of fear of failure. On this new path, when the inner critic's voice arises, you might first notice the physical sensations it creates. Then, you might acknowledge the voice. Ah, there's my inner critic, working hard to motivate me, trying to prevent me from making a mistake. You might then gently inquire, what is it afraid will happen if I'm not perfect? The answer might be rejection, abandonment, or the feeling of being not enough. With this understanding, you can then offer compassion. I understand that fear. It's painful to imagine not being enough. But I want you to know, I am here for you. You don't have to carry that burden alone anymore. I am capable, and even if I make mistakes, I am still worthy. This internal dialogue, this compassionate self-parenting, is revolutionary. It reparents the wounded, fearful parts of yourself that never received the unconditional acceptance and reassurance they needed. It builds internal resources that were perhaps lacking in your formative years. It fosters a sense of inner safety and security that external circumstances can rarely provide. The practical application of this journey extends far beyond individual moments of introspection. It begins to reshape your interactions with the world. When you are less driven by unconscious fears and defenses, your relationships become more authentic. You are better able to set healthy boundaries, not out of anger or resentment, but out of a clear understanding of your needs and limits. You can listen more deeply to others because your own internal noise has quieted. You can offer compassion more readily because you have cultivated it within yourself. In your professional life, this shift can manifest as greater clarity in decision-making, less susceptibility to imposter syndrome, and a healthier relationship with ambition and success. You pursue goals not to prove your worth, but to express your potential, to contribute, and to engage meaningfully with your talents. Failure becomes less of a catastrophic judgment and more of a valuable learning opportunity. You become more resilient in the face of challenges, not because you avoid difficulty, but because you trust your capacity to navigate it. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that this path is not without its challenges. There will be moments of resistance, when old patterns feel overwhelmingly strong, when the vigilant parts scream louder than the voice of self-compassion. There will be days when you feel lost, when the progress seems to evaporate, and the familiar doubts creep back in. This is not a sign of failure. It is a natural part of the process. Growth is rarely linear. It often involves cycles of insight, integration, setback, and renewed commitment. When you encounter these moments of resistance, the practice remains the same. Notice, acknowledge, inquire, and offer compassion. Instead of criticizing yourself for backsliding, you can approach it with the same gentle curiosity you apply to your initial explorations. Ah, this old pattern is resurfacing. What is it trying to tell me now? What might it need from me in this moment? Perhaps it needs reassurance. Perhaps it needs rest. Perhaps it needs a moment of quiet reflection before re-engaging. The key is to avoid adding a layer of judgment to the already challenging experience. The compassion extends not only to the vigilant parts but also to the part of you that feels frustrated, tired, or disappointed. This journey also invites you to explore the concept of self more deeply. We often identify with our thoughts, our feelings, our roles, our achievements, or our failures. But as you listen to the stories of your vigilant parts, you begin to realize that you are not just those stories. You are the space in which those stories unfold. You are the awareness that observes the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations. This awareness, this deeper self, is a place of inherent wisdom, calm, and compassion. It is the steady anchor amidst the internal storms. Connecting with this deeper self is not about transcending your humanity or detaching from your emotions. Rather, it is about engaging with your humanity from a place of greater perspective and groundedness. It allows you to experience your emotions fully, joy, sorrow, anger, fear, without being overwhelmed or defined by them. You become the container for your experience, rather than merely its content. This connection provides a profound sense of inner freedom, a liberation from the constant striving and defending that characterizes a life lived primarily from the perspective of the vigilant parts. The embodiment of this journey is equally important. It's not enough to intellectually understand these concepts. They must be felt and lived. This means bringing your awareness into your body, noticing where emotions reside, how stress manifests physically, and how relaxation feels. Practices like mindful movement, gentle stretching, or even just pausing to feel your feet on the ground can help integrate your mind and body, bringing these internal insights into your lived experience. Your body, after all, is the vessel through which you experience the world, and it holds a wealth of information about your internal landscape. Learning to listen to its signals with respect and care is another crucial aspect of this compassionate self-exploration. As you progress, you may discover that the vigilance that once felt like a burden or an enemy gradually transforms. It doesn't disappear entirely, for a healthy degree of awareness and caution is essential for navigating life. But its quality changes. The frantic, hyper-alert guard dog might become a calm, discerning companion, offering insights when truly needed, rather than barking at every shadow. The relentless inner critic might soften into a voice of encouragement and wise guidance. The anxiety might morph into a heightened intuition, a sensitivity that serves as a valuable guide rather than a paralyzing force. This transformation is not something you force. It is something that unfolds naturally as you continue to offer understanding, compassion, and space to these parts of yourself. It's like providing fertile ground and nurturing conditions for a plant that has long struggled in harsh soil. With care, it begins to thrive, to shed its more extreme defenses, and to integrate harmoniously into the larger garden of your being. The ultimate reward of this journey is not a state of perpetual bliss or the eradication of all challenges. Life, in its beautiful complexity, will always present difficulties. The reward is an unshakable inner groundedness, a profound sense of self-acceptance, and a resilient capacity to meet whatever arises with wisdom and grace. It is the freedom to be authentically yourself, to express your unique gifts, and to engage with the world from a place of integrity and genuine connection. This inner peace, born of deep self-understanding and compassion, has a ripple effect. When you are more at peace within yourself, you contribute that peace to your relationships, your community, and the world at large. Your presence becomes a source of calm and clarity for others. Your actions are guided by a deeper sense of purpose and compassion. The transformation you undertake within yourself is not a selfish endeavor. It is a profound contribution to the collective well-being. And so, the journey continues. There is no final destination, no moment when you arrive, and the work is completely done. Instead, It is a continuous process of unfolding, of deepening, of ever-expanding awareness. Each new experience, each new challenge, each new interaction offers another opportunity to lean a little closer, to listen a little more attentively, to offer a little more compassion. This path is not about reaching perfection, but about embracing the rich, complex, and profoundly human experience that is uniquely yours, with all its imperfections and its boundless potential for growth and love. It is a lifelong invitation to fall more deeply in love with your own precious, evolving self, and in doing so, to embrace the fullness of life itself. The journey is the destination, and every step taken with intention and kindness is a profound act of creation, shaping not only your internal world but also your experience of the external one, weaving a tapestry of meaning that is uniquely, beautifully, and authentically yours. You are the artist, the explorer, and the masterpiece, all at once, in this magnificent unfolding. And in this understanding, there is a profound sense of liberation, a quiet joy that resonates at the deepest core of your being, inviting you to live more fully, more bravely, more truthfully, with each precious breath. It is a testament to the enduring power of human spirit, its capacity not only to endure but to transform, to heal, and to flourish, even amidst the most intricate and challenging landscapes of its own design. This is the heart of the matter, the quiet revolution of self-discovery, always unfolding, always inviting, always worthy of your deepest attention and most tender care. This is the heart of the matter, the quiet revolution of self-discovery, always unfolding, always inviting, always worthy of your deepest attention and most tender care. And what does this tender care truly entail? It is not a passive indulgence, but an active, vigilant commitment to your inner landscape. It is the practice of listening, truly listening, to the subtle whispers of your intuition, the quiet murmurs of your soul, often drowned out by the cacophony of external demands and societal expectations. It is the courage to create a sanctuary within yourself, a sacred space where vulnerability is not a weakness but a profound strength, where imperfection is acknowledged without judgment, and where the messy, beautiful reality of being human is not just tolerated, but embraced with fierce compassion. This care extends to the quiet work of forgiveness, forgiving yourself for past mistakes, for perceived shortcomings, for all the ways you might have judged yourself harshly or allowed others' judgments to define your worth. It's an understanding that growth is rarely linear, that setbacks are not failures but simply detours offering new perspectives, new lessons, new opportunities to deepen your self-awareness. The quiet revolution is subversive precisely because it challenges the prevailing narrative of constant striving, external validation, and the relentless pursuit of more. It gently, yet powerfully, redirects your gaze inward, away from the fleeting promises of material gain or social approval, towards the enduring richness of self-acceptance, inner peace, and the profound contentment that springs from simply being. It encourages you to divest from the illusion that happiness is a distant destination, a prize to be won after arduous effort, and instead to discover it as an ever-present potential, a wellspring within, accessible in any moment of authentic presence. This shift in perspective is not merely intellectual. It is an embodied transformation, a realignment of your entire being with the rhythm of your own truth, allowing you to move through the world not as a seeker, but as a discoverer, not as an empty vessel, but as an overflowing fount. This journey of self-discovery, though deeply personal, is never truly isolated. As you cultivate this inner harmony, this quiet strength, you inevitably begin to resonate differently with the world around you. Your relationships transform, becoming more authentic, more reciprocal, built on a foundation of mutual respect and genuine connection rather than need or expectation. Your interactions become infused with a greater sense of empathy. For having walked the labyrinthine paths of your own inner world, you gain a deeper understanding of the complexities inherent in others. You learn to hold space not only for your own unfolding, but for the unfolding of those around you, recognizing the shared humanity in every struggle, every triumph, every quiet moment of contemplation. This ripple effect of inner work is perhaps its most beautiful external manifestation, creating pockets of peace and understanding that subtly, yet powerfully, contribute to a more compassionate collective consciousness. To engage in this tender care is also to embrace the full spectrum of your emotions, not to suppress or deny them, but to acknowledge their presence as messengers, as vital components of your internal compass. Joy, sorrow, anger, fear, excitement. Each carries information. Each offers an opportunity for deeper understanding. Instead of labeling certain emotions as good or bad, you learn to approach them with curiosity, asking, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Where does it reside in my body? What unmet need or unexpressed truth might it be pointing to? This mindful processing allows emotions to flow through you, rather than becoming stagnant pools of energy that can fester into chronic stress or anxiety. It is an act of radical self-acceptance, affirming that all parts of you are welcome, all parts of you have a voice, and all parts of you are worthy of your gentle attention. The continuous unfolding of self-discovery also requires a courageous commitment to vulnerability. To be truly known, by yourself and by others, means shedding the protective layers of persona, the masks we wear to navigate social landscapes. It means daring to reveal your authentic self, with all its perceived flaws and insecurities, trusting that true connection is forged in honesty, not in carefully curated perfection. This vulnerability is not a weakness. It is the birthplace of courage, empathy, and genuine intimacy. It is the willingness to be seen, to be heard, to be felt in your rawest form, and in that brave act, you discover an immense reservoir of strength you never knew you possessed. Each time you choose authenticity over artifice, you reinforce your own truth, deepening the well of self-trust and reinforcing the quiet revolution within. This is not a journey to be completed, a finish line to be crossed. It is a living, breathing process, an ongoing dance with the myriad facets of your being. There will be seasons of rapid growth, moments of profound clarity, and periods of quiet integration. There will also be times of confusion, moments of doubt, and the inevitable pull of old patterns and conditioned responses. The art lies not in avoiding these challenges, but in meeting them with an unwavering commitment to your own inner process, approaching each ebb and flow as an integral part of the grand design. It is in these moments of perceived difficulty that the deepest insights often emerge, much like a seed that must break through the earth to reach the light. The beauty of this continuous unfolding is that it democratizes wisdom. It posits that the most profound truths are not hidden in ancient texts or exclusive doctrines, but reside within the unique experience of each individual. Your life, with all its intricate details, its joys, its heartbreaks, its triumphs, its quiet reflections, is your greatest teacher, your most sacred scripture. By giving it your deepest attention and most tender care, you are not merely engaging in a personal pursuit. You are contributing to the collective tapestry of human understanding, offering your unique thread of experience to the grand design. You are honoring the inherent dignity and worth of your own existence, recognizing that your presence, exactly as you are, is a precious and irreplaceable gift to the world. To live in this way is to live with a profound sense of purpose, not a purpose dictated by external expectations or societal pressures, but one that emanates from the very core of your being. It is the purpose of becoming more fully yourself, more authentically present, more lovingly engaged with the unfolding of life. This self-discovery becomes the very act of creation, not just of your own internal world, but of the reality you experience and the energy you contribute to the world at large. You become a beacon of the very qualities you cultivate within: peace, kindness, resilience, understanding. This quiet revolution asks for patience, for persistence, and for an unshakable faith in the wisdom of your own journey. It reminds you that you are not broken, not lacking, not incomplete, but an ever-evolving masterpiece, always in progress, always worthy of reverence. It whispers that the answers you seek are not out there, but within, waiting to be discovered through the simple, yet profound, act of turning inward with an open heart and a curious mind. The journey itself is the destination, and each step taken with awareness, with kindness, and with courage deepens your connection to the boundless wellspring of wisdom that resides eternally within you. It is a celebration of being, a testament to the transformative power of genuine self-love, and an ongoing invitation to inhabit your life with the fullness of your magnificent, evolving spirit. Embrace it, for it is the most meaningful adventure you will ever embark upon, and its rewards are boundless, echoing not just through your own existence, but resonating outward, touching every life you encounter with the quiet, profound grace of an awakened heart. This grace isn't passive. It's an active force. It transforms how you listen, how you give, how you forgive. It's the silent understanding in your eyes when someone struggles, the gentle strength in your touch when comfort is needed, the unwavering belief in humanity's potential even amidst its flaws. This profound grace cultivates a garden of compassion within you, where judgment withers and empathy blooms, where fear gives way to courage and isolation dissolves into connection. It is the bedrock upon which genuine relationships are built, relationships characterized by mutual respect, authentic vulnerability, and a shared commitment to growth. This inner alchemy, this sacred transformation, is not a destination but an infinite horizon, forever inviting you deeper into the mysteries of your own being and the interconnectedness of all life. Each breath becomes an opportunity to recommit to this path. Each interaction, a chance to practice the wisdom you've uncovered. Each challenge, a crucible for refining your spirit. It's a dance between the personal and the universal, where your unique song contributes to the grand symphony of existence, making the whole richer, more harmonious. And as you learn to truly inhabit this space of awakened self-love, you become a beacon, not through overt effort or grand pronouncements, but simply through the authenticity of your presence. Your very being becomes an unspoken testament to the possibility of a life lived with purpose, peace, and an overflowing sense of gratitude. You begin to understand that the greatest contribution you can make to the world is to fully embody the truth of who you are, to shine your light without apology, and to offer your unique gifts with an open hand and an open heart. This is the ultimate freedom, the ultimate power, to live in alignment with your deepest truth, to walk your path with unwavering faith, and to trust in the magnificent unfolding of your own, unparalleled story. It is a story still being written, a testament to the endless capacity for transformation that lies dormant within us all, waiting for the tender touch of awareness to bring it to vibrant, glorious life.